It was a disappointing start to the season for young Corey Day. The California driver was 12th in the feature at the Limaland opener, but leaving the midgets behind for the Wing 360 was good medicine as the 13-year-old phenom won the Round 2 Kokomo feature. Meanwhile, Aiden Perdue was able to maintain the points lead over his nearest rival, Chance Crum, as both drivers held station in the points. Tonight, the engines get a little bigger, the talent pool gets a little deeper, and the pressure a little thicker. From Volusia Raceway Park, it's round 3 of the CSI Shocks Spring Season Championship, and you can see all the simulated Winged 410 dirt track action live as it happens right here on the Global Sim Racing channel. As Sol sinks into the Sunshine State sky, hello and welcome. Joe Peak joins yours truly, Bill Soup John Zahn, way up in the press box to bring you our Bird's Eye view. Sean Crackers Ambrose has director duties armed with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Joe, after Limaland in Ohio and Kokomo in Indiana, the CSI Shock Series heads south. Tell us a little bit about our round 3 venue.
Volusia is going to be a different beast. First of all, you can see from the aerial view that it's a D-shaped oval, but interestingly, the curve side is the backstretch. With this being a half-miler, these 410 sprint cars are essentially going to be a foot to the floor all the way around. But what I think is most odd about this track is it went from originally being dirt to being paved, and then back to dirt again. The banking is also going to be a complete reverse from Kokomo last week. Up in Indiana, we saw the variable banking increase the closer you got to the outside of the circuit. Here, they have what they sometimes call a shelf, though it's very subtle. It flattens out a bit towards the very outside. So while drivers will be expected to move up the track as the race goes on, there'll be something of a limit to what's actually faster. All in all, tonight's racing will give us a totally different flavor to the first 2 rounds, Bill.
As we go to round 3 down in Florida, let's take a quick look at the point standings now that we have 2 events under our belt. We talked about Aiden Perdue and Chance Crum holding station. You see that they are only 4 points apart. Notice that Perdue has a main win while Chance Crum has got his points. He's the only driver with 2 heat wins so far, winning both of his heats that he's been entered in. Chad Wheeler has been charging his way through the field as well as the standings as he's up to 3rd now. We talked about Corey Day in the opening, and there you see he is up 10 spots thanks to the success that he had last round. And then Caleb Montgomery falls a few spots. He was 12th in last round's feature. Let's quickly look at something new now. This is the Clausen Marshall Hard Charger Award, and this is basically for the driver that passes the most cars all season long. You see about Corey Day up with 9 points sitting in the lead. A couple points back is Kobe Stridham. There we talked about Chad Wheeler charging his way through the field. You see he's right in the hard charger mix here. He is tied with Bryce Lucius, and then rounding out the graphic, Andrew Evans. There is a prize for that. We'll talk more about that as the season goes on. Joe, while they're out there practicing right now, let's talk about the race details.
Absolutely. As you said, we are in round 3, and they do get some drop weeks, so you can see that's what those little droplets represent. We are in the winged sprint car, the 410 variation, so this is more powerful than what they had last week. The setups are still fixed in these cars, so nobody has to do anything to try and get them set up and try to find an advantage that way. Now, the same format as we had before. They'll have 5 heat races, then there will be 3 semifinals, and then we will have an A main race, a feature race. The cash and prizes that are in store for this season gets all the way up to $2,000, Bill. So there's a lot on the line to worry about today.
Indeed there is, as they are out there. Still qualifying is not opened up yet. They're putting in some practice time. Gives us an opportunity to get to look at some of the liveries that these guys will be working with. There's the 05 machine. Let's take a look at Corey Day. We talked about him. He was our winner last time out.
Yep.
Out there.
Basically, you can see that the track's slicking up a little bit from what they're doing in the practice here. And this is, I mentioned about this track being different. The other thing about this being a deep-shaped oval, Bill, is that it's got a sharper entry on the first turn, and then the exit of 4 is also sharper, of course. So drivers will have to be aware of that, and it's not just symmetrical the whole way around in how you want to run it.
One thing that's a little different from our previous sessions is that it is a group practice session right now. In the past, it was just one car out there at a time, so it's fun during practice. We can show you a whole track full of sprint cars going around. There's Emerson, and there's Coburn Haslett. Boy, that's a pretty looking car. What color is that, Joe? Is that orange? Did I get that one right?
It's a slightly orangish red, I suppose.
And the number 1. That car should be easy to spot.
Absolutely.
Whoops!
Take a look at Matt Kaiser Matt Kaiser working as Corbin had some problems coming out of turn 2. The other thing to watch out for, Bill, is the track entry that they've got in a couple spots around here, mostly on the backstretch. You've got a little gap. If any of our pavement racers have ever run at Gateway, it's similar to that, where it juts out. And the reason it could bite you here is because you're kind of tracking out right there. And if you track out a little bit too much, well, obviously, if you find yourself heading for that little opening, you could think you're safe until suddenly you clip that Armco as it juts back in. So something to keep an eye on. And then there you see on the outside of 4 is the other entry. It's not as much of a problem. If anything, it's a little bit of a safety. If you find yourself heading for the wall, you got a little bit of room to maybe try and blow it up if you have time.
As we'll take a look at Avery Goodman in the number 43 machine.
He's going to ride the wall.
Boy, our director's really, he's cursing them tonight.
And a lot like last week, Bill, with these being the 410s, obviously, these open-wheel sprint cars, if they lock wheels, if they clip each other, if they have something go wrong, they're going to go for a tumble very easily and injure race soon. The bigger thing now is that with more speed, more oomph under them, the walls and the other cars come at you a little bit faster.
18th fastest right now in practice. He seems to have a nice, smooth feel to it. Oh, guy, gee whiz, as he puts it in the wall just as I say that. There's Avery Goodman.
You could see with the sharper first turn, he's gonna send it a little bit more shallow. Now he's fallen a shallower line into 3, but I've seen a lot of drivers try to come in a little wide because it's more gentle on entry down into turn 3, and then they're going to want to try and chop it down in, really get the shot down the front stretch.
Hailing out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma is Avery Goodman.
Oklahoma, of course, has its representation now here on iRacing with the Chili Bowl. That will be chaotic when we head to there because it is itty-bitty.
This is a driver that we saw do really well last time. This is Kobe Stidham. Racing out of Fresno, California. The internet connection in Fresno not mostly good right now. If you're ever on your way to Sequoia National Park, you want to stop in Fresno. Yeah, nice Walmart there.
Of all the places, Bill. And it looks like warm-up's over, so I think we've got our grid ready. Or no, we don't. We have our qualifying.
No, it's time for qualifying going on right now, so let's get them out there. Now, this is going to be different. Every driver will go out all together, but we're not going to be able to show you that. This is the magic of simulated racing. Everybody gets the track to themselves.
Yeah, looking to see who's going to be first to set some times here, get themselves on the board. Again, they only get 3 laps to try and qualify, so they can continue warming up as long as the clock is still running. But those are their first 3 laps that they set are the ones that are going to count.
Aiden Perdue, our point leader, sitting at the top right now. Oh, no! Let's say Corey Day jumps up there with a 13.8.
So Corey Day certainly looking good, and Chad Wheeler trying to give chase on him and his number 88. Apologies for not being able to show any of the action. We're unfortunately having a little bit of issue with being able to see the cars. But Soup and I are still able to keep an eye, and Brennan Rogers getting very close and overtaking Corey Day, and it's continuing to swap around actually here, Bill.
A new name goes to the top. Tyler Rust, a name we are not familiar with, as he goes second, putting in a 13.837. Our pole sitter, Brendan Rogers, with a 13.830.
Chance Crum doing pretty good. Go ahead.
Chance Crum, Corey Day in fourth. Chad Wheeler, we talked about him being a hard charger. I don't know how many points he's going to get today, as he seems to be pretty quick. Not going to be a lot of cars to charge through. He's sixth in qualifying right now. Put him on the outside of row one in one of the heats.
And for our viewers who aren't familiar with this format and haven't watched before, this is just setting them up for the heat races. This is not going to be their final starting order. This is to just sort them out to see who they are racing against in these first few rounds. And then from there, the heat races will see who goes to the final immediately, and the rest of the drivers will, of course, be going to the C and B mains.
The top five will get the pole positions, and the spots 6 through 10 will go to the outside of row one for each of the heats as they stagger them through. Familiar names here today. Both the Batterby boys are here, Carson and Carter. They qualified in about 13th or 14th, it looks like. Qualifying be done here soon. We hope to have some cars on screen for you in just a moment.
Looks like we got 36 drivers are going to be taking part today, Bill. So, not sure if we're going to get all the way up to the 5 heats. We'll see.
Right. We'll see how they split that up. We only may get 4 heats and then go right from there. We'll see how that plays out. As we wait for the drivers to grid up. Now, there are points for qualifying. Brendan Rogers will pick up 5 points as the fastest qualifier.
Qualifying, yeah, all the drivers seem to be done. Here.
They give them 5 minutes to qualify. Everyone has put in their times. Its time is with about a minute to go still as the clock runs down. So they're taking their drivers' meetings right now. Brendan Rogers, Tyler Rust is going to get 4 points for being your second faster qualifier. Kobe Sidham behind him, Caleb Montgomery, and then Chance Crum will pick up a single point. You get points for qualifying. You get points for how you qualify. You get points for how you finish in your heat. 10 points for a win, 8 points for second. And then in the feature, it's 100 points for a win. And farther down, as you can hear the Florida cathedrals chiming the bells to announce that qualifying is over. Thank you very much, as our Lady of the Cave ringing the bells.
I'm going to be fascinated to see how the drivers deal with this situation now, this completely different track that we've got on our hands, especially with this being mostly flat out. So I'm not sure if that'll be better racing or if it'll be a lot harder to pass, because it basically comes down to how you are behind the wheel.
And there we go. Qualifying is officially done now, and we're going to be able to show you some cars on the track as they will grid up. Not a lot of time before they go racing, so let's take this opportunity, and I'll just talk you this while we get our picture back on screen, that our first heat, as always, is going to be sponsored by Joe's Racing Products. Joe's Racing Products design and manufacturing quality and innovative race products in the USA. Find out more at joesracing.com. And Joe, on the grid, let's go ahead and tell you who we got here on the front row. It is Brendan Rogers. He's going to be flanked by Chance Crum. Aiden Perdue is going to be inside of row 2 with Preston Perlmuter outside of him. Who do you got next?
Then it's Jonathan Schaefer starting P5 with Ryan Gaunt in 6th. Grayson Springer starts P7, Matt Kaiser in 8th, Dustin Davidson 9th, and Colin Mitchell will round out the 10 drivers that will take part in this first heat.
Waiting for Chance Crum to go ahead and take his spot in the second position. Little bit of blinking going on from Aiden Purdue. Hopefully he has good connection. We saw him blinking a little bit. Should have our picture ready for you here very soon. Until then, we're going to do it old-fashioned style. We're going to do it radio style. There are 10 cars in this first heat. We continue to work with our technical difficulties. If we're having trouble launching the session, we'll get this up and running here pretty soon. Until then, it'll be the vocal stylings of Bill Soupzon and Joe Peak bringing you the action.
As always, it'll be 2 pace laps that will be circling around here.
10 drivers in the heat. With Joe, with 10 drivers here, I have a hunch we aren't going to get that 5th heat in. I got a feeling we're just going to do 4 here today. We'll
yeah, it's looking, it'll be split into 4 heats of 10. And don't see Chance Crum out there yet.
And I think,
wonder if they sometimes will hand out penalties. Wonder if they're making him start from the pit lane, but I do not see him in the pit lane yet. So maybe he's just not available.
As we start to roll through the first pace lap. So on the front row now, it's going to be Brendan Rogers and Preston Pulmuter will get to move up a spot. I'm a little bit worried about our point leader, Aiden Purdue, as he continues to blink in his number brightly colored 37. Ryan Gaunt is going to be now outside of row 2.
I can report that the weather, a nice cool 70 degrees down here on the track in Florida. So the sun having gone down means it feels pretty nice out.
Truckin finishes his first pace lap, rolling around. Race control telling everybody to gather up. We do not want any sandbaggers. Talking about how some black flags will be cleared if there's an issue, but most will not. 8 laps of racing, no yellow flags. This will be a fast one. Rogers out in front. The pace car finishes corner number 4. It pulls in, gives control over to Brendan Rogers, who gets a great jump, and he's out in front comfortably. There is a battle for second. On the inside, that is going to be Aiden Purdue. He slides up in front and loses the spot to Preston Permuller.
Rogers already starting to streak away. Ooh, and falling backwards quickly. Ryan Gaunt did not have a good run. He gets a little bump from the side by Schaefer, who moves himself up into 4th, excuse me.
Ryan Gaunt was trying to work the inside line, and it was very slow, and he got the punch. There is a battle for second. Running away with it right now is Brendan Rogers, but Permuller is about a car length ahead of Aiden Purdue. The transfer spot is for second as they continue to look to try to get up there. Purdue about a car length back and continues to blink with internet problems.
Yeah, this is the important spot. This is why Aiden is trying his best. But this is bad news for Permuller. He's going to go for a slide job, but unfortunately it's just too shallow coming off the corner of 4. So it looks like Permuller is going to hold on to it for now. That didn't work. Now Purdue's got to experiment, try somewhere else.
The leader working lap number 5 coming across the line right now with 2 to go. Permuller in the second position. Purdue made the pass. He had it for a breath. He was able to dive it in deep, slide up in front, but he lost all the momentum on the previous lap, and now he is back in 3rd, a half car length back, working on the back of Purdue. He tries to get to the inside, still a half car length back as we are on the white flag lap. Now they are side by side, and I'm talking Permuller on the top side, Purdue underneath. They go into the final corner. Purdue has a little bit of an advantage. Here comes Permuller back. Permuller is going to get the spot as they work. I apologize. Now they work the white flag lap. They work in lap number 8. Rogers all the way out in front, no contest. Permuller again with a half car length lead. Purdue tries to go underneath. He's not going to get there, and that's going to do it. Yes, it is. Transferring along. Brendan Rogers moves ahead, as will Permuter. Joe?
Purdue, the good news for him is he will be on the pole in the main when he comes back, but he will be followed by Schaefer, who finished 4th, Kaiser 5th, Springer 6th, Mitchell 7th, Dustin Davidson finishes 8th, and Ryan Gaughan 9th. Chance Crum did not take part in the race.
Two, and that's going to be the Factor 1 chassis heat number 2. Factor 1 micro sprint chassis have been providing an unfair advantage for over 30 years. More info at factor1racing.com. And hopefully we have some pictures back for you. You saw it there briefly. As we get ready to go, let's go ahead and tell you who is going to be racing in this one. On the front row, it's going to be Tyler Rust and Corey Day. Row 2 is Avery Goodman and Chase Randall. Joe?
Parker Leak will be starting P5, Cannon Posey in 6. Then the next row has Scott Bradley on the inside in 7th. Outside will be Colton Collins, who will actually start from the pits. Ryan Mitchell rounds out the field in 9th.
Beautiful shot from above. Yeah, there we go. All right, that's Tyler Rust in the pole position there in that blue and yellow machine. On the top side, it is Corey Day. Corey Day coming off the win last time.
You can see this is very difficult to pass, at least for some drivers if you're close on pace. And turn 4 doesn't seem to be working. If anything, I'd say maybe aim for coming through turn 1 and off of 2 to try and get a pass done, because we know Purdue isn't slow, and he just could not execute.
No, he did not. Purdue was right behind the whole time. Time to go racing. Rust on the inside. That's Day on the top side. Rust able to get in front. Sliding up into the wall and losing all of his momentum is the bright orange at number 12 machine of Chase Randall. He's done as he gets tied up in a horrible crash with Ryan Mitchell. Hopefully those cars will clear before everyone comes around.
Avery Goodman also had problems into the outside wall of 3 and 4.
They've
Randall mostly cleared. Oh, we got another accident. Corey Day!
Corey Day loses it, who was racing in 2nd. Now they get up onto the lap car of Chase Randall. Randall in the 12, trying to stay out of the way. Up in front it is Tyler Rust. Scott Brady now comfortably, and Bradley comfortably in 2nd.
Yeah, it's a long gap back to Posey in 3rd. He's going to have to hustle, even though he's got 5 laps to go. He'll need an incredible bit of pace to try and run down Bradley, who seems to have had a mistake. I take that back. Bradley's fallen off of Rust.
Bradley now in 2nd. Putting it in the wall is Cannon Posey as he's trying to get everything out of this one. This one is really stretched out. Now the car in front of Rust, that is Chase Randall. He got in a big mix-up, and now there's 2 cars to worry about, as that's Ryan Mitchell. Both those cars a lap down. Tyler Rust sandwiched between 2 back markers, working lap number 6. Ryan Mitchell puts it in the wall. He's done. Scott Bradley gets by.
Even though it's a lapped car, Rust is having a bit of problems. Now, thankfully, he's not really under pressure, but I'm surprised that Randall isn't pulling out of the way. Some of the other drivers have already gotten on the chat to try and tell him that he's a lapper, but he's not interested in pulling over.
He is not. Tyler ran up there racing, but that's okay. Not going to slow us down.
That's the finish.
And the checkered flag, there it is. Tyler Rust gets the win. The transfer spot will comfortably go to Scott Bradley. Cannon Posey looking in. He'll have to go to the semi to move along, as will Parker Leak. Joe?
Avery Goodman doesn't make it through. And Chase Randall as well finishes 6th. Colton Collins P7. Ryan Mitchell finishes in 8th. Corey Day, with that horrible accident at the very start, only gets 2 laps in and finishes 9th.
Heat number 3, brought to you by WR1 Sims. Built by racers for racers, WR1 Sims are the choice of industry professionals like Kyle Larson and Christopher Bale. Check them out at wheelermetals.com. And now to the grid. On the pole will be, let's bring this up here for a minute, Caleb Montgomery. Corbin Hayslip going to be behind him. Row 2 is Carter Batterby, one of the Batterby boys, and Matt Moore in 4th. Joe?
In 5th is Emerson Axum. Evan Spalding starts P6 with Christopher Townsend in 7th. Bryce Lucius starts 8th, and Sam Johnson rounds out our 9-car field.
Working here for heat number 3. As they begin to roll. Truck working its way through corners number 1 and 2 right now.
So that one was a little bit more messy. Kind of surprising, honestly. After the first one proved to me to be pretty good racing out there. I think maybe as we get a little bit farther down the field, you get some of the drivers who maybe aren't as experienced or aren't as clean, that this is the sort of racing we'll see. Hopefully it clears itself up once they get to the feature.
Now I'm showing Kobe Sidham on pole. Joe, are you showing the same thing?
I am as well.
Not sure why we're seeing the number 3 out there right now, but he is. He continues to blink a little bit. Our timing and scoring, the official iRacing scoring, doesn't show him supposed to be there. They're giving the instructions. So the number 3 of Cody Sidham sits on the pole position for mystery reasons. Chad Wheeler is going to be outside of him.
Stidham's been having a few connection issues as well. I'm not sure if this is going to hurt him too much because he is well clear after the green.
All right, we got it. Cody Sidham up front, as I was looking at the 4th heat there. Comfortably out in front, learn how to work the software soup. Cody Wheeler in 2nd position. Carson Barnaby tries to get around, puts it on the wall. He's on the wall. His night is done. He is collected by Christopher Townsend.
Townsend able to keep going. Wheeler giving chase to Stidham, but he's got to look behind him more than anything because it's a close fight between himself and Andrzejczyk.
Stidham out in front. Wheeler now in 2nd. Andrzejczyk trying to get to the transfer plot. He has a good run off the floor, about a car length back. That fluorescent red number 88, Joe, looks really wide.
Yeah, he's doing all he can, and you can see exactly what I was talking about earlier. They're going high, but not completely all the way up on that shelf. You got to just kind of keep it right about here where they're running. Behind them, they have a change of positions. Lucius and Spalding swapping spots.
They are really too far back to be a serious threat to the guys in the transfer position. Working lap number 6 right now. Andrzejczyk doing everything he can to find his way around Wheeler. Wheeler being perfect. About 10 car lengths behind Kobe Sidham.
There you go. Andrzejczyk's going to have to really get aggressive if he wants to get this away. And so far, I haven't seen him been able to make any moves.
Well, he's running out of time as the leader will get the white flag lap.
Oh, he got a good run on the front stretch. He's going to try it around the high side. They tangled a little bit, Bill. And they tangle again.
They both keep it going. Wheeler's going to be able to get the car to the finish line in 2nd. Andrzejczyk will take 3rd, and it all goes on behind Kobe Sidham, who gets the heat win.
And Andrzejczyk finishing just outside of it. Lucius taking 4th. Emerson Axum P5. Christopher Townsend 6th. Evan Spalding 7th. Carson Batterby 6 laps down in 8th. Sam Johnson was a did not start for that heat.
And now we go to heat number 4, brought to you by Chalk Sticks. Chalk Sticks offering the best torsion bar money can buy to the micro, sprint, midget, and sprint car markets. Check them out at chalksticks.com. On the pole, now this time I'm on the right grid here. It's going to be Caleb Montgomery. I got this one figured out, and there is Corbin Hayslip in 2nd. Carter Barnaby is going to be inside of Matt Moore for row 2.
Then you've got Kenny Miller starting in 5th. Tyler Ransbottom will be 6th place. The next row has Andrew Evans on the inside, P7. Reed Whitney, 8th. Ryan Hergo is another, did not start. Looks like he is not going to be on the grid.
We've seen Caleb Montgomery sit up in the points. Hailing out of Templeton, California, our pole sitter. Listening to the race control telling the number 1 and the number 33 they want them side by side coming out of 4.
You could see at the end of the race how desperate he was getting to try and get that second place away, Bill. And he almost did the right thing. Getting up on that high side probably would have helped, probably would have been able to get the position, but he wasn't fully alongside him as desperately as he wanted it. And I think that drivers who are watching are going to take note to see that he got the shot off at 4, and that gives you an opportunity.
Time to go racing. A great jump from the top side from Hazlett, but he's not going to be able to make it stick. It's going to be Montgomery out in front by about 8 car lengths. It gets shrinking down to 6 now. Racing back there in 3rd is Carter Batterby in the Casey's General Store machine.
Ooh, a little bit of a look to the... Oh, no, our leader!
Caleb Montgomery in the fence. His night is done.
Gives it to Corbin Hazlett, but for how long? Look at this. Carter, really aggressive, trying to get this one away. Down to the inside, Hazlett's going to cover him off.
Batterby all over him right now. Matt Moore in the white car, number 9. Looking on from 3rd, he can get there. Batterby on the back of Hazlett. They come across, working lap number 4.
Hazlett, yeah, now he moves back up to the high side. I was going to say, I wouldn't move that low line down into 1 too much because it just hurts your momentum. Batterby almost got him onto the few laps ago, and this brings Moore in with them for a 3-way fight for the lead.
Moore also took a shot down on the low side. He got side by side, but wasn't able to hold on.
Very, very close. Again, Moore seeing if he could do anything down there. The thing I would try and cut low off the corner. Like I said, just get the shot off of it, get your momentum going, and see if that can get you some space where you need it. But so far, everybody trying to just run shallow into the corner, and it's just not working.
Coming around, they'll be getting the white flag this time. Hazlett looks to be comfortable in the lead. Batterby now. And it's the Carter version in 2nd. Boy, making a stab at it as Matt Moore could not get there. 2 corners to go. Let's advance to the feature. Corbin Hazlett and Carter Batterby.
Looks like Moore going to be 3rd with Tyler Ransbottom 4th. Then you've got Reed Whitney, P5, Kenny Miller, 6th, Andrew Evans, 7th, and Caleb Montgomery, the last of the field, with Hazlett not taking a qualifying.
All right, looking at this, I believe, Joe, if I'm correct, it looks like we're going right to a semi. Is that your take on this one?
We are on the D main.
So we'll talk about that one then. That is going to be Al Geyer Performance Parts. This is going to be our semifinal number 1, your one-stop shop for everything high performance in the Midwest. On the pole, it's Aiden Perdue. Try as he might to get that heat win, he could not. Matt Moore is in 2nd. Bryce Lucius and Avery Goodman go 3rd and 4th.
Grayson Springer will be starting 5th. Kenny Miller, 6th. And Evan Spalding, P7. Ryan Mitchell, 8th. And Ryan Gaunt round out the last 2.
We'll be going 10 laps. The top 2 will advance.
And I'm a little surprised that the track has not slicked up more than it has yet. I guess maybe they've been refreshing it each time, possibly. It looks like once we get to the main, then you really start to see some fireworks, Bill, because this track, especially coming out of 4, it can get diabolical trying to keep the car from spinning. You got to be real fine, real finesse on the wheel.
That is your overall point leader. Car number 37, racing out of Illinois, Aiden Perdue. In the pole position, he needs to finish in the top 2 so he can get a chance of winning the feature. Matt Moore out the outside. Bryce Lucius, another great driver in the number 32 on the inside, getting a little bit of a love tap. And my goodness, a little craziness going on back there behind. We're going to go green anyway. Pace car is in. Oh my goodness, a really good jump from the guy on the outside. But getting up there, Perdue has none of it. He's back out in front. Watch the momentum. Shut down, though. Matt Moore had nowhere to go. And that's going to let Bryce Lucius slip underneath as he gets to the front from 3rd position.
Ooh, big accident behind them. Ryan Gaunt involved. Looks like also, I didn't see who that was flipping. Avery Goodman also unfortunately falling victim. Looks like it was Evan Spalding. And Perdue already back in the lead. Yeah. Sorry, Bill.
Bryce Lucius was out in front for a little bit. Did not take long for Perdue to gather him up. They are well ahead of Matt Moore as the cars in the back continue to battle. The track is clear in front of our leaders, though. Coming across, working out lap number 4. It is Perdue and Lucius.
This isn't the worst news for Lucius. He only needs to be within the top 2 to get to the feature from here.
Spalding and Springer battle for 4th position, but they are way too far back to be a real issue. The question is, can Matt Moore, who was outside of row 1 to start this, get up to Bryce Lucius? Maybe.
Right on board with Aiden, looking back behind. These are the important spots, but still some side-by-side action between Springer and Spalding. Oh, I think Spalding's... Go now. Lucius has got to be sweating a little bit. Matt Moore taking a little bit of a look to the inside. As they come down the front stretch. Oh, both of them, I think, brushing the wall on the outside down the front stretch. Almost up to the outside wall for Matt Moore. They're on the final lap with the white flag out. Checkered flag now waves. Aiden Perdue going to be your winner. Bryce Lucius is going to finish 2nd. Matt Moore takes P3. Evan Spalding moves himself up to 4 on the final lap. Grayson Springer finishes in the 5th position. Ryan Mitchell, P6. Avery Goodman, 7th. Kenny Miller, 8th. And, of course, Gaunt, the last of the field.
That takes us to the next semi, brought to you by Sharp Advantage, specializing in customized racing safety products of the highest quality. Check them out at sharpadvantagesafetyproducts.com. And we'll go ahead and give you the starting grid for this one, as it's going to be Cannon Posey is going to sit on the front row. He's going to be flanked by Jonathan Schaefer, Taylor Ransbottom inside of row 2, Emerson Axum outside of him.
Chase Randall starts 5th with Colin Mitchell in P6. Andrew Evans 7th, Carson Batterby 8th, and Corey Day 9th. Ryan Hergo did not grid for this one, so it's only going to be a 9-car field.
Posey was 3rd in his heat, looking to get into the feature right now. He's got Justin Wilson tribute on his wing. That's a nice touch.
Absolutely. Now we're seeing a little bit of shine on the track. You can see there, it is building up a little bit up on that outside line on the entrance into turn 1. Hopefully we got a little bit calmer restart than what we had, or start, I should say, than what we had last race, Bill.
I think so. Working around here, the second of the semis. One more to go, and then we get to the feature event. Time to go racing. Cannon Posey, they get a little touch of banging going on right there. He's going to be able to take the middle line, and he's out in front. Look at the momentum from the top side, though, to Schaefer. Schaefer now gets it.
Chase Randall went for an absolute tumble on the front stretch with a bad start. A bunch of cars tangling, but this battle for the lead is still very hot.
Oh, and then bang, he pushes. Getting really high after the touches, Posey, but he gets it gathered up like a real pro. Axum watching on from third. He's going underneath him.
Dirt racing is a contact sport, Bill. You don't want to touch wheel to wheel, but you can get those Nerf bars into each other.
Posey having trouble getting his momentum back into 7, and that's going to allow Axum with the shot. He's got to run out of 2. Now he takes it down deep into 3. He's got the momentum. I think he's going to maybe be able to make this one stick. He does. We have a new guy in the transfer position. It's Emerson Axum.
I think Posey's car has some damage, some suspension damage. He just looks awful out there. He's already lost out to Corey Day, who's moved into 3rd, and Day's looking at 2nd even.
Watch out for Day. He is on the hunt. He got 3rd, and now he slides up into 2nd. He tried to get the grip down, and he does. He gets it going straight. Look at him work the wheel in the 44. That car is really rolling.
Great recovery by Day, but he's not done with it. Axel tries to come back at him with a shot off of 4. He's a little too low. And Corey Day almost a little too high, all the way up to the arm go.
He made Day work for it. As Day took it in really hard. He had to get it woed up, almost put it in the wall, but now he's got a lot of cushion between him and the driver in 3rd of Axum. All this going on behind Jonathan Schaefer as he goes lap number 7.
In fact, I think Day is gaining a little bit on Schaefer. These last few laps, that gap's been coming down bit by bit.
Working lap number 8 some more, banging in the back, but it's too far back to matter. Carson Batterby, Cannon Posey back there in 4th and 5th. They're not going to be able to move to the feature.
Corey's starting to try some unique things. Look at how shallow he's coming into 1.
Keep an eye on Corey Day when we transfer to that A main. He's going to be quick. He'll be well back in the field. White flag out for Jonathan Schaefer.
Got this one in the bag, essentially, as long as he's clean around these last 2 corners.
Schaefer gets the win. Corey Day comes back to get the 2nd position.
Carson Batterby going to finish 3rd. With Cannon Posey, the last car on the lead lap, in 4th, and it was some horrible races for those behind him. Emerson Axum finishes P5, Colin Mitchell in 6, and then Chase Randall P7, Andrew Evans 8th, Tyler Rand bottomed the last car to race and finish 9th.
Our final heat race, Clausen Marshall Racing. This is the semi number 3, racing in honor of the great Brian Clausen. CMR specializes in grooming young racing talent for the upper levels of motorsports. Check him out at ClausenMarshallRacing.com. On the pole, it is James Adrichuk, Parker Leak behind him. Row 2 is populated by Matt Kaiser and Reed Whitney.
Christopher Townsend will start 5th. Colton Collins, starts 6th. Dustin Davidson in 7th. And the outside of that row is going to be Caleb Montgomery in P8. Sam Johnson will start 9th. And Chance Crum has lined up 10th. This is the last chance to get into the feature.
University Loft Company sitting on top of the wing of our pole sitter, James Adenchuk. Anderchuk sits up there in car number 20. Ten laps, no yellows, the final semi.
Based on what we've been seeing, I worry about these starts being a cautions breed caution situation, Bill. Most of the issues we've seen have been on the starts. And, well, if they keep bringing out the yellow flags, that's going to mean restarts, which will just present the same issue all over again.
The big name to watch out for, car number 33, Caleb Montgomery. He's had a pretty successful season so far. He's got some work cut out for him here over these next 10 laps if he hopes to get to the feature.
Rubber
blue.
Really starting to get laid down on this upper line. You could see there as we rode on board with Leak.
Leak in that beautiful blue Hoosier machine. And let's just qualify that. As everyone knows, if it's Hoosier, it's going to be purple. And Chuck up in front in the number 20. And again, keep an eye on Montgomery sitting back there in row number 4. Time to go racing. Pace car is in.
They tried to game the start a little bit, and it caught a few people out. There was a big checkup, Bill. Thankfully, this was one of the cleanest starts we've seen in the mains.
Working down low. That is Kaiser out front. He's not going to have momentum to hold it, but he blocks the road. And Chuck had nowhere to go. Sliding up in there. Told you it wouldn't take him long. Kaler Montgomery in the 33 car, now up into 3rd.
Townsend.
And working for 2nd.
Townsend and Leak got together down into turn 1, but both of them were able to recover. This is costing them. Look at this action for the lead, though.
Montgomery from 8th to the lead. And it just took him a few laps to get there.
Guys are sitting pretty comfortable. He's got about half a second back to Andrechuk. More problems for Townsend, I think. Almost lost the car and won all by himself. Didn't hit anything, but that car might be damaged.
Leak is on his hood. Leak got together, I believe it was with Andrechuk. He's not going to be able to advance. Watch out, another name that I missed. How about Chance Crum sitting in 4th in jeopardy of not making it to the A main? Crum is 2nd in points.
Ooh, and he's got to run on Andrechuk now because Andrechuk was very loose out of 3. Cars make slight contact. He collects it, but it is not enough. Beautiful move by Crum to get into 3rd, but he needs one more spot, Bill.
And he's got a mile to get up to Kaiser, who is in 2nd. Who is a mile to Caleb Montgomery. I think Crum is faster than Kaiser. I just don't think there is enough time as they work lap number 8, coming across for lap number 9 now.
Townsend's managed to get the car underneath himself. He's actually already caught and is looking like he's passing. Oh, well, never mind. Andrechuk is going to get him back because Townsend was all the way into the wall.
Last lap, try as he might, Chance Crum is now about 8 car lengths back. He's coming as fast as he can. He's going to run out of time. Montgomery is going to comfortably get the win into the final corner. Watch Crum. He's working the top side. He's going to have a run, but I think he's going to run out. He needed one more lap. Matt Kaiser's going to get the advance. Chance Crum will not be racing in the main.
He finishes 3rd with Christopher Townsend taking 4th, Reed Whitney 5th, and Andrechuk down in 6th. Then you've got Colton Collins behind him in 7th, Dustin Davidson 8th, Peter Leak in 9th, and Sam Johnson, again, did not start the race.
All right, we've got the 4 heats out of the way and the 3 semis, so now it's time for the feature. The Ergot Real Estate Group A main, servicing the greater Indianapolis area. They specialize in helping racers find the home or shop of their dreams. On the pole, Brendan Rogers is going to be inside of Tyler Russ. Kobe Sidham makes up row 2 with Corbin Haslett outside of him. Preston Permuller in the 3rd position, inside of row 3. Scott Brady next to him. Chad Wheeler and Carter Batterby. Aiden Perdue is going to be way back with Jonathan Schaefer. Joe?
Caleb Montgomery starts 11th. Bryce Lucius in 12th, and then Corey Day 13th. The last car to squeak through is going to be Matt Kaiser, the 14th of this field.
Big names that are missing. Chance Crum. Some names to watch from the back. Corey Day, Caleb Montgomery, who was very impressive in that last semi. Names up front we're not so familiar with. Brendan Rogers and Tyler Rust.
keep an eye on Hazlett. He was very fast in warm-up. He looked good in the races. He's got the potential to try and win this one.
This feature is going to be 30 laps, not the 40 that we're used to. They had to go 30 to make sure there was enough fuel that these cars could get all the way around without running out of petrol. There will be yellow flags. Time to go racing. Pace car pulls in. Gather up the chicken steak country on the cows. The horses are out of the barn. Brandon Rogers leads the stampede of winged sprint cars down into the first quarter. Tyler Russ right behind him. Corbin Hazlett and Permuller.
First caution is Scott Bradley and Jonathan Schaefer. Bradley went all the way upside down. He got a little bit tangled up with Aiden Perdue on the backstretch.
Take a look at this replay. Yellow flags allows to do the luxury of looking at
things. This seems like a racing deal to me because he was on the outside. He didn't have momentum, and Aiden really couldn't have known that he was going to be there. He was really in a blind spot. You can see the damage that Bradley's already got on that car as it's kind of crabbing a little bit. You see here, unfortunately there's a car in the way from that angle, but it just kind of washed up exactly where you wouldn't be able to see or hear anything.
Big mover, no surprise. Caleb Montgomery up 3 spots already from 11th, now in 8th. Got that done in, what, about a lap?
Half a lap even. They didn't even complete the first one.
Lights are on the pace car. We're going to go around one more time. Brennan Rogers able to hang on to the lead. Tyler Russ behind him. Hazlett and Perlmuller back there in. Our points leader, Aiden Perdue, in 7th.
Yeah, with him being involved in that, he could have taken a little bit of damage as well. We won't know until we get going.
Big faller, Kobe Sidham, started on the inside of row 2, now racing in 6th. Okay, time to go racing. Let's try it one more time. Brendan Rogers in control, gets a nice jump. Russ followed him through.
Looks a little bit more orderly this time. Everybody trying to find themselves some space. That single file start helped a lot.
Sidham is the car on the low line. That does not seem to be working for him as 2 cars go around him. Wheeler and Perdue both get spots, although Perdue is still working on finishing the job.
Sorry, they had a spin. It was Batterby and Montgomery who were turned around, but they're going once again. No caution for it. Nice little battle with Corbin Hazlett. He's up to 3rd. Looks like we've also got Chad Wheeler taking a little bit of defense off of Stidham.
Your leader Rogers up by about 10 car lengths on Rust. You're looking there at that blue and yellow machine. That is Permuller being chased by Wheeler.
Oh, wheels touch, and Kobe Stidham, unfortunately, finds himself turned sideways in front of a couple of cars. That was Corey Day and I think that was Aiden Perdue again. Corey and Aiden have had horrible luck today.
That started with Sidham getting in the back of the orange car there of Wheeler, maybe. Let's see. A lot of blinking there, so it's kind of hard to see what was going on, and boy, there's the mess.
So, unfortunate news. Sounds like Caleb Montgomery won't be joining the series anymore. They've not taken lightly to some of his comments that he's made during the race, and basically, Bill, this is a family show for them. Yeah. So they're trying to make sure, since there's a lot of kids involved in this series, that this stays safe for those kids, and that's why they're taking this very seriously. What gets said on the radio.
Little industrial strength vocabulary there, and they'll have to take this one sit on out. Rogers out in front, Rust in second, Hazlett in third, and Perlmutter in fourth. Perlmutter sitting there in fourth. You know, the big mover so far, driver in seventh position right now. He's up 6 spots. Last race winners, Corey Day. Plenty of time to get to the front.
Curious to know how much damage he had from that contact with this last incident. He's right behind Purdue as the other one who was involved. Purdue didn't seem to be too fussed after his first contact. Let's see if the second one hurt the car at all.
Truck is in. Time to go racing. They're going to be working lap number 14. Rogers out in front. Look at the dive down low by the blue car of Perlmutter. He could not get it done. Hazlett hangs on to third.
In fact, that really helped him because now Perlmutter under attack from Wheeler instead. Wheeler can't get by, but at least it's distracting Preston so that he's not on the charge.
The guy that is hungry is in third. Working the low line is Chad Wheeler.
Oh, another caution. Matt Kaiser absolutely flying out of turn 4. So this all started ahead of him. It was Purdue and Day, unfortunately.
Yep.
They clipped each other. That checked up Jonathan Schaefer, you could see in that black and yellow car. And then the white machine of Kaiser just got into the back of him with no place to go. He gets hit by another driver, finds himself in a tornado.
Somehow Schaefer got thrown out of the tornado, and Jonathan is safe, racing in 6th right now. All right, so they follow behind the truck again. I guess Brendan Rogers doesn't mind this. He's good on restarts. Nobody's going to pass him under yellow.
Yeah, and Tyler Rust has been pretty solid there in 2nd place, although I'm sure he'd love to be able to get one more position up on those restarts. Really, the action so far has been for that 3rd place spot. Hazlett and Perlmutter have just been going at it with each other.
Day is back in 12th position. We look at the driver in 4th right now, Preston Perlmutter. Aiden Purdue still out there in 6th spot. Don't know how much is left in that car. It's been through a war, and we're only 18 laps into this race.
Well, it finally sent Corey Day a little farther down, too. He's fallen all the way to 12th. He's actually the last car still running. Kaiser and Montgomery both off the track. Montgomery fully gone. Kaiser might try and get repairs and get back out, but I'm not sure if that'd be a good idea. At this point, he's multiple laps down, and there's very little to gain here in the finale.
2 races so far this season, 2 different winners. Not sure if we're going to get a repeat winner today, as both those drivers, Purdue and Day, seem to be struggling. It's going to be about 10 to go here when we get the green flag, and there we go. Brandon Rogers out in front. A little closer this time is Tyler Rust.
And Hazlett actually closer to Rust, too. Can't do anything with it. They're going to stay mostly single file. A few of them looking down low, trying to find some different grip. And I think we're going to get another caution maybe because Lucius and Corey found themselves tangled up, but it stays green.
Chad Wheeler really working hard on Perlmutter right now, but up front there are 3 cars in the mix. Rogers, Rust, and here comes Hazlett. Hazlett with a run out of 3. Into 4 now, coming around. Not going to be able to get him this.
Rust actually managed to get underneath Rogers coming out of 4, but he didn't have the speed and the momentum. This is good information for him, but he's not got a lot of laps left to try anything more. He's He's got to use what he's got and see if that information helps him anymore.
Hayslett catching his breath now in third, trying to catch up to those guys. Hayslett may need Russ and Rogers to mix it up a bit for him to get in the mix.
Down to 5 laps to go, Bill. And Rust is starting to fall off a little bit. Hayslett coming forward instead.
Rogers looking to go wire to wire, working lap number 26 now. Joe called it. Rust losing touch, falling back into the clutches of Corbin Hayslett.
He's starting to stall out, though. He gained on him, and it's stuck at about 3/10. Just can't seem to find anything on that blue and yellow machine.
Things settling down in these closing laps. About a 10-car length lead for Rogers. Rust is not going to be able to get there. Hayslett trying everything he can. 2 to go.
Very much a stalemate between the top 4, essentially. Don't forget Preston Perlmutter back there riding about a second behind our leaders, but just doesn't have the oomph in the car.
The 2019 CSI Shocks spring season round number 3 from Volusia is going to go to Brendan Rogers.
An over-under attempt from Hayslett, but Rust was able to come home with second, Bill.
Hayslett has to settle for third. Perlmutter and Chad Wheeler round out your top 5. All right, the night of racing is over, but our broadcast is far from done. We'll take a short break. We'll come back to run down the finishing order of the feature, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Back in a few. Your places to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the CSI Shocks Spring Season Championship Round 3 from Volusia Speedway Park. All right, let's give you the finishing order here. It is Brendan Rogers with a wire-to-wire win ahead of Tyler Rust. Corbin Hazlett has to settle for third. Preston Perlmutter goes in fourth position. Chad Wheeler behind him. Back half of your top 10, Jonathan Schaefer, Scott Brady, Aiden Perdue, our points leader, have to settle for eighth. Carter Batterby and Kobe Sidham. Joe?
Then it's Corey Day finishing in 11th. Last car on the lead lap is going to be Bryce Lucius in 12th. Matt Kaiser, unfortunately, ran into problems. He did get back out there in the end, but he was 5 laps down, 13th. Caleb Montgomery going to be the last car in the main today in 14th place. Bill?
Let's go ahead and talk to our race winner. And let me tell you, I believe this is a perfect day for him, as he was our fastest qualifier, if I have this right. He was also winner of his heat, and then he wins the feature event as well. Of course, we're talking about Brendan Rogers. Brendan, congratulations on the win. And we don't quite have him yet. Hoping Brendan, there we go. One more time, Brendan. We saw. No, we're not hearing Brendan. We'll talk a little bit about Brendan while he plays around, sees he can get his microphone, as we're seeing him trying to talk. Hearing out of Camarillo, California. I know right where that is. That's just near Oxnard, which is, let's say Santa Barbara, if you want to be a little more romantic. Let's go ahead and see if Brendan will be able to. Oh, here we go. Brendan, we got you now.
Yeah, hey.
There we go. We do indeed. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a good comeback from last week. Obviously, we felt like we had last week in the bag, and unfortunately, it just didn't go my way. So we kind of persevered, and I really don't pride myself too much in the wing driving. I really don't get too many laps in them. So when I get to race them and get some laps, I do find myself enjoying them, especially if you can be out front. That makes it a little easier. But to come back from second last week and to have a sweep like tonight feels good.
Were you ever not in front tonight?
I don't think so, but that's just the way qualifying goes. I qualified first, and with no inverts, that really right. It puts a lot of pressure on those 2 laps there. So we just try to perform in those moments, in those 2 laps in qualifying, and that's all you can do. In those heats, especially at a place like Volusia with the wings, it's so tough to make a pass and make it clean. And I saw my buddy Caleb; he came from 8th to 1st in I think his B or something like that, and he's kind of a rare example of how you can do it. But in general, it's super tough to make passes. So getting that real estate up front to begin with is super vital.
How much did the track change between the heat race and then in the feature?
Oh, I'm glad we got a tractor on it before that feature. It was through those B-main, the preliminaries. It slicked off pretty good up to that fence, and then it went pretty tacky to begin the feature, and it worked in pretty well. I was fighting for the top at the end. When you have that many cars on the surface like that, it wears itself in so differently than if you start the race at a slicker status. So it worked in fair, it worked in smooth. I thought it was conducive to some decent racing. Of course, I didn't see too much of it, but I imagine it happened.
I'll get you out of here on this question. When you're out in front, were you happy to see the yellow flags, or would you rather just try to drive away from the field?
No, I mean, it depends on if it's single file or double file. I don't find myself liking double file, especially if we're going on the green of iRacing. But I like green flags. I think everyone should like green flags. I think yellows, they're no fun, They're no fun to watch. They're no fun to be a part of. So, no, I like green flag laps, especially leading. It keeps you in a rhythm, Having to restart your rhythm is difficult, especially in a car you're not familiar with. So, no, I prefer green flags, but those yellows, single file, I mean, how much damage could they really do if you defend real well into one?
All right, congratulations on the win here today. It's going to move you up in the points. Good job.
Yep, thank you so much, and thank you for doing what you guys are doing. Have a real fun time. All
right, thank you, Brendan Rogers. Joe, how about that? I like that attitude. I think everyone likes green flags. That's the attitude of a racer, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. We want to see more racing, not pacing.
That's right. That's going to do it for us here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Streaming cyberspace into your place is what we do here. GSRC would like to thank the sponsors, and especially the series sponsor, CSI Shocks, for making this broadcast a reality. On screen now are just some of the equipment and software used to stream cyberspace into your place. Additional thanks to Julie LeBron, who provides our iconic music. See the screen to how to get a hold of more of her great work. The CSI Shocks spring season returns in 1 week. That's going to be April 17th. It's Modifieds from Lanier. GSRC will be there. We hope that you join us. Sliding across your screen right now are some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. You want more information about us? GlobalSimRacingChannel.com, Twitter, GSR Channel, Facebook, Global Sim Racing Channel, Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Also, if you haven't done so yet, become a YouTube subscriber by hitting that big red button so you don't miss a thing here on GSRC. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Joe, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching, as it was indeed Brandon Rogers who gets the win. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, to all the fans out there yelling, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.